Welcome. In this clip, we start to discuss the ASAD system. The ASAD system allows us to connect the nominal and the real side of the economy. Also, it will allow us to distinguish between supply and demand factors affecting the output in the economy. In the ASAD system, we use a simple coordinate system with the real GDP being on the horizontal axis and the price level being along the vertical axis. We will have three curves in this system. First, we are going to have a negatively sloped aggregate demand, a positively sloped short run aggregate supply, or SRAS. So I will write it here: short run aggregate supply, and a long run aggregate supply, which is a vertical line. In this first video, we will discuss what these curves represent, and also we will derive them. So let us start then with the AD. What we discussed in the ISLM system is basically the effect of different sorts of demand shocks on the economy. So it is not surprising that basically it is the ISLM system that we use in order to derive the AD in the ASAD system. So we start with negatively sloped investment savings, which is the line which shows us those combinations of the interest rate and real GDP at which the goods market is in equilibrium. And we have a positively sloped LM curve, which is again a collection of those interest rates and GDP, real GDP at which the money market is in equilibrium. So now we can do some derivation here. We start with the idea. Here we have y and p. As you can see, the horizontal axis is the common axis, so that's why I put this second graph below the ISLM. So originally we had an equilibrium in the ISLM system. So that said that we had a y1 level of GDP, I1 level of interest rate, and a certain P1 level of prices, which assured that both the goods market and the money market are in equilibrium. So what can we now use to derive the AD curve? Now obviously, because y is endogenous variable in both the ISLM and the ASAD coordinate system, so for that reason we must assume a change in p. So what happens if, for example, we have an increase in the price level? You know that if there is an increase in the price level, that will, in the money market, increase the demand for money. So let's just put this here. So we had M and we had I. You remember we had a certain money supply and a certain demand for money, MD. So a higher P, so this was at P1 level, a higher P meant that no more money is needed to do all the transactions in the economy. That means that the equilibrium interest rate must also increase. Now this is only possible if the LM curve shifted to the left. But at this level we know that the equilibrium aggregate output must be lower than before. let's call this y2. So we have now 2 points along the AD curve, and that gives us then the idea that the AD is a negatively sloped curve. Of course, here I analyze the effect of only one change, so we have 2 points, and with 2 points you can only draw a line. But if we were trying to experiment with higher, so more than one changes in the price level, then we could nicely find a curve for this AD. But in this level, at this level, actually using a line as AD curve will be perfectly fine. So what is then the AD curve? So I'm going to put it here that this is then the AD curve. But what is the AD curve? It is that combination of the price level and real GDP at which we have equilibrium in both the goods market and the money market. That means that basically this ISLM system was simplified into a simple line in the ASAD. So whatever happens with the demand, so either a monetary shock or a real shock in the economy, so whenever there is a change in the ISLM system, that's going to translate into change in the aggregate demand. Based on this, you can simply find out the effect of changes in the ASAD system as a result of some monetary shock or real shock. So we start with the ISLM, and then we put here the ASAD below. Okay, so it wasn't the nicest line ever, so I will try to make it better. So we started then in an ISLM, with an ISLM, which then gave us a certain y1 at a certain p1. Yeah, so we had here, yeah, some kind of line, yeah, and this is the AD. This is what we derived. So how can we now analyze the effect of some complex change here? So what is going to be the effect of an increase in government spendings? Now we know that in the loanable funds market, that would result in a reduction of the savings. Yeah, so I could here, for safety's sake, just simply draw the loanable funds market, which is here investments and savings, and then we know that at the moment we had an equilibrium here like this. Okay, and that means that there was a certain I1 level of investment already in the economy. So what is going to happen if we increase G? We know that this S is Y minus C minus G, so obviously there must be a leftward shift here. So this is going to be the new savings. So the equilibrium in the goods market will be as restored at a higher level, I2, and before, and that is also only possible, of course, as you can see, if we had a rightward shift in the IS. So that means that now we are going to have at the same price level, yeah, because no, the price level didn't change, so at the same price level, this will still be along the AD. Now this is only possible if the AD itself shifted to the right. Now what would happen if instead we had a change in the monetary policy? So now instead of using this graph here, yeah, you could just say that, okay, then let's see what happens if instead there is a increase in the monetary base. Okay, now I'm going to just put this here, even though it would be better to put it here actually, but I don't want to delete the previous loanable funds market graph. But we know that there was an I1. And then here we had a money supply and the money, sorry, this is money demand, this is money supply. You know, let's assume, and I'm going to use here the green color, what happens if we again start from this point here. Okay, so forget about the red lines and red characters here. Now we are going to assume that there was an increase in monetary base. Now we know already it means that there is a rightward shift of the money supply. So that means that there should be a lower interest rate in the economy. So a lower interest rate with higher GDP is going to be, so for example, there will be a leftward shift of the LM curve, and that's going to then give us this higher output at the same price level. So as you can see, basically we did in the ASAD system whatever we did in the ISLM system was translated into the ASAD system as a shift in AD. So if you just look at the rightward shift of the AD, either the green or the red line, these will look indistinguishable. But actually the source of these changes was different, because in the first case we had a fiscal expansion, and with the green line, the second case, we had a monetary expansion. Nevertheless, the effect remained basically in the ASAD system the same. So as a next step, we will look at the supply curves in this economy.